Cloud seeding is actually, well, it let's say has now caught the attention, let's say, of international media, but the technology actually exists for many decades already. If you look back in the past, the technology, let's say, was already applied already in the past. For instance, let's say, trying to let's say mitigate the development of thunderstorms. I'll come to that in a second. Or for instance, let's say to clear cloudiness, persistent low clouds in the neighborhood of airports. Now, how does this exactly work? Is cloud seeding is literally a procedure where you inject large quantities of products that have the purpose to do two things with precipitation: to accelerate the process of precipitation and also to enhance it. Typical products which are used for that, or for instance, silver iodide or potassium iodide or some other products there. And they are selected because the shape of the crystals of those materials have a typical structure which is very comparable to ice crystals, and as such they really form very good, as they are called, nuclei pieces in the cloud, let's say, to accelerate this process and to enhance this process of precipitation. As said, let's say it was not new already in the past. It was used, let's say, to bombard kind of way, or to inject cumulonimbus clouds, which are really thunderstorm clouds, with the purpose of reducing the risk of hail by, let's say, accelerating the process. You would have a lot of precipitation, a lot of small hailstones, instead of letting, let's say, the cloud grow to full maturity and have larger hailstones. So it was about trying to protect crops, as an example, or for instance, seeding really persistent low clouds in a cloud layer that otherwise would not precipitate, just accelerated the process. For instance, a cloud is kind of raining or snowing out, and then you have a clear strip where you can use, for instance, airports better than if they would be covered under low clouds, fog, and those things. So again, the technology is not new here. It was suggested by the media here. I personally believe that in the particular circumstances that they had in Dubai, probably cloud seeding would have not made a lot of sense, because there was already in meteorology a kind of structure available there that already triggered heavy thunderstorms. So there was really no reason, to say, to further enhance let's say, the precipitation. Typically, you would be using this for clouds which otherwise would produce little or no precipitation. There you would be using it, but there the weather situation was as such that already heavy precipitation was well predicted also several days in advance. But then, of course, in the end, well, you foresee large quantities of precipitation, then it still needs to be confirmed how much it actually is in the area. Well, the danger may, of course, be that, well, when you interact with nature, well, the purpose is, of course, that you want to accelerate and enhance the precipitation process locally. But in doing so, of course, let's say you may trigger the weather doesn't stand still. Let's say clouds, air masses are moving, and you may have probably even unintendedly, you may also impact, let's say, other areas with the let's say the action that you're doing. It was already also in the past. One tried, let's say, to interact with the thunderstorm clouds, let's say, to reduce the risk of hail. The results, let's say, were well, you had the spectrum of results. Sometimes it did exactly what it had to do. Sometimes the results, let's say, were, well, did not yield the effect it was intended to, or yielded it on another occasion. And so it remains a little bit part, if you want, of to some degree, the unpredictability of the weather.